just an area within GCC.
Welcome everyone. Thanks for your patience. Thanks if you're joining online. Thanks for turning up in person. My name is Henry Samuel, President of Gungahlin Community Council. Tonight we're going to have a very, I think hopefully, sometimes when you say it's a short meeting, that's the one, it goes longer. But I think with agenda we have a very minimal one. So just as you all know, this is live streamed on Facebook. And when you have questions, put your hand up. We can bring our microphone, the small one, so you can ask your questions and stuff. If you haven't subscribed to our page or to the newsletter, you can do so. The details on the screen. So just we're going to have Angela from TCCS to talk about the KC Community Recreation part. And then in terms of the GCC updates, we just want to, we've been lately been invited by the media about the recent activities in Gungahlin, about the vandalism in shops and those crime activities. So it's deeply concerning as a community. That's why I think we did a petition, more than a year now, to make sure that we get more police resource in Gungahlin. And still we are waiting on those ones, but we did a petition on those ones, and at the moment our police station, it's been closed for the different reasons. Some of the issues we identified as part of the petition is the low resourcing and the response time, because if you have a low resource, that means the response time would be, at some instance, could be delayed because they need to get the backup from the different districts and stuff, so it's going to delay those ones. So I think, we're probably still doing a great job as a community. We need to acknowledge that, but we also realize they are very low in resource, and which we raised a few months back. Other than that, last month we had the SLA meetings about those developments in the East Gungahlin precinct. We had an update on the last public meeting. We'll follow up with that as well, just to make sure that where they are up to and those things. And next meetings we are planning to get the police. We already engaged with them to see whether we can get them for this meeting. Unfortunately, they couldn't come. Or we'll bring them in to get some stats to see how the crime stats works in Gungahlin, and I think those informations would be really good. Also, we tried to get with Rod Baxter from TCCS as well to provide an update on other developments which we are working on, probably maybe not in June, July. So these are some of those ones, so we'll post things in Facebook if something comes up soon. But without further delay, I would like to invite Angela for us tonight to come and do the presentation. Thanks.
That I would be letting you know that we were about to start. Okay, last time I got this all mixed up. Let me just pop it here. Okay, great. So yes, my name's Angela. I'm from Transport Canberra City Services. I work for infrastructure delivery, and I'm the Senior Manager in charge of delivering the Urban Infrastructure Program on behalf of TCCS. So I've been asked to talk about KC Community Recreation Park tonight, and to give you an update on where we're at. Henley, do you mind if I take this off the... Thank you, just so that I can talk with my back to you, sorry. Okay. So as you're aware, we've started the construction on KC Crip, which is fantastic, and we're very close to completion. So I wanted to let you know where we're at with that tonight. That's really dark. Is that really dark, or is that me? It's really dark. Yeah. That's really dark. Which won't work with this, so I'll have to get you to... Oh, will it? Okay. Just a technical glitch, everyone. That's better. Excellent. Let's start again. Okay, so a little bit of background in relation to the development. The Casey Community Recreation Park was a 2012 ACT Government election commitment. It was not delivered in the election terms between 2012 and 21, so the funding was available in 2021, and we received $3 million to deliver the design and construction of the project. Detailed design was completed in early 2023, and as many of you might recall, there was some community consultation undertaken by MLA Orr prior to our community consultation process as well. So we had a your say, a period where people were able to provide their commentary through your say, and we provided the feedback from that community consultation, and essentially it was very similar to the information that was provided from the survey that MLA Orr had undertaken. As part of the design, we also had to undertake an environmental significance opinion, which is essentially ensuring that we were complying with any environmental requirements. I'm not sure if many of you know the site, which is bounded by Plimsoll and Yen Street, but it's got that beautiful remnant eucalypt forest there, and so we wanted to make sure that what we were doing had very minimal impact, and we actually only removed 3 trees from the site, and they were because they were dead or diseased, and we didn't actually go into that sort of area of influence that had the really great ecological value associated with it. So that ESO was received in February 2023, and that then allowed us to go ahead with a development application. That development application had 0 representations, is my understanding. I think the community were quite happy with the way that we had prepared the development, and we received that approval in April 2023 also. And then we went through a procurement process, and construction commenced in August 2023. So where are we today? What we've completed on the site so far is we've undertaken all of the earthworks, we've installed all the play equipment, undertaken all the stormwater infrastructure. We've got an irrigated grass playing field, which is right next door to a cricket pitch, so that's all been installed. We've installed the shelter. We've also undertaken some overland flow sort of work where we've built some swales and allowed runoff to be managed properly across the site. We've just recently sown the seed for the dryland grassing, so there will be 2 types of grassing available there. One is a dryland grass mix, which is what you see on verges and generally in open space, but we will also have the irrigated grass, which will be taken care of by our sport and rec area of TCCS, and it's a sort of better, higher quality grass that just has some more maintenance attached to it and is fully irrigated. We also have installed the multi-use games court surface, so it still needs some line marking on it, but the surface is in. We've also installed non-verbal signage. Now, what that is, this is the first of its kind in a playground in the ACT, and unfortunately I don't have any pictures to share with you tonight, but Potentially I might actually, but essentially the signage was developed in conjunction with organisations that deal with children with autism or non-verbal children. So it's a sign where basically they can point to either an activity, so their caregiver can take them to that activity. It's also got things like how they're feeling, if they're angry, if they're sad. They can point to those things so people are aware of sort of how they're feeling while they're in the space. It's also got information about whether they want to go home or to the bathroom or onto particular bits of equipment. And so it's very quickly a way for caregivers to sort of understand what the child would like to do while they're in the space. So like I said, this is the first of its kind in an ACT playground, so we're really excited to share that with you. And also a trial for us to see how that's taken up by the community and whether or not we can roll that into other playgrounds across the ACT. And the other structure that we've popped in is a toilet, which the community will be very happy to have, given that there's quite a bit to do in the space once it opens. What have we got left to install? So at the moment we're in the throes of delivering the car park. The multi-use court has some goalposts and some line marking that needs to be included, and that's still to come. The synthetic soft fall that goes around the play equipment, well, I've got some pictures to show you what that looks like at the moment. The cricket net structure is up, but it actually needs the nets over it, so that's still to come. We've also got some environmental bollards. So as I'd spoken of before, we've got an area that we've stayed out of and wanted to keep that as conservation. And we've gone that extra step to put in some environmental bollards so that people are aware that once they transition from the main area of the recreation park into that sort of, I guess, less maintained area, that area is actually has got conservation values, and the bollards will identify that. And that also reminds the mowers, contractors, to not go in there, because we actually don't want that area mown, because it's got grasses and things that don't like to be mown. And also it will be an identifier for environmental groups who might come in and do some land care work through there to know that that's an area that they can go into. What else have we got? We're installing a barbecue, a double barbecue, and also the electrical connection. So that will also happen in May. The toilet structure is up, but the plumbing connection isn't complete, and that will be completed by the end of May as well. And then we've got the landscaping component, which is all of so the grass is down, still yet to germinate, but we've got trees and shrubs, which will really make the space come alive once they're in as well. And then the final item, which I'd spoken about previously, was the line marking. That will go in mid-June. We're expecting that to be completed. So there's lots happening to get us ready to open the park. Okay, wanted to just share some of the imagery of what it's looking like at the moment, which is really exciting. This is what everyone wants to see. So what you can see here is we've got a fort, and this play equipment is technically there for children for 0 to 9 years of age, and some little springers. So we've tried to go for a naturalistic theme as opposed to having really bright sort of play equipment. We wanted to keep within the kind of natural theme of the site. The ground plane looks really awful at the moment. That's because it still has a rubber soft fall to be installed. So that will go in, as I'd indicated, this month. So there we've got the fort, and behind the fort, so I don't know where behind this area, that's the dog park, and there is a bit of space obviously between the dog park fencing and the playground. And then this here is a big nest swing. It's kind of tied up to the structure at the moment, but that's going, that ends up with 5 or 6 children on it, so get in early, otherwise you won't get a go. So that also needs the rubber soft fall to be placed down as well. But you can see it's got these really, oops, I went too far. This lovely sandstone feature in it, and it does have some tan bark soft fall, but all of these areas here, all of this stuff here, will actually have that lovely rubber soft fall installed. Okay, what have we got next? Okay, over here, this is a flying fox, which is great. That was something that the community was really interested in. Now, this swing here is an all-ability swing, which means that if someone comes in a wheelchair, the entry point and the exit point, so this point here and up the other end, are accessible by wheelchair, so you can be loaded in and then taken off at the other side. These two little things are little trampolines. I've had a go, they're awesome, so I'm sure that they will be very welcomed. So there's two small trampolines, and this area obviously through here again requires the soft fall installation. But you can see some grass has already come up, which is great. So I guess it's a bit hard to tell at the moment, but in a couple more weeks we're hoping that it will really, look like an established park. Over here we've got they're working on the car park. And they were also doing a concrete pour, and I'm not quite sure what that concrete pour was for, but probably for the curbing and the footpath. So that's this along here. So this at the back here is the dog park, and we've also included a new footpath connection from the car park into the playground, but it also links directly into the car park to the dog park, and then again further onto the paths that take you under Horse Park Drive and around the suburb. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, this here is the playing surface for the multi-use court. So it is a full-size court, but you'll be able to play several games, not just basketball, several different sports on it, so it'll have different line markings. What we also still need to install is the goalposts, and it does have fencing. Actually, it might be, I can't quite tell if it's there. I think there's some fencing here, but it will be entirely fenced but have some gaps in it, so it stops the ball from, running out, but it also allows people to come in off the courts. So there's a little bit more work to go there. And then we were looking at this footpath connection in the previous slide. So this peels off to play equipment through here, and this takes you off down to the dog park. And this is fully accessible, wheelchair accessible, and comes off the car park as well. And that is our toilet. So it's a single-use, single toilet, and it's got, it's accessible as well. And we have two disability compliant car spaces in the car park as well. All right, what else have we got? This is just another image of the multi-use court, and yes, the fences are up, which is great. This image here, just wanted to share what this is here. So people might recall that the space had a natural swale, and it does have a watercourse that comes from the top of Casey through this space and heads off down under Horse Park Drive. What we've done is we've actually tried to improve the state of that swale. So it's partially rock lined, but it's also got some planting in it, and it is the same alignment. So what we've tried to do is just improve it so it doesn't erode out, basically. And that sort of also forms the edge of the play space as well. Once you come beyond this, you're heading into that naturalistic area that we didn't want to touch. Okay. Is it possible to, we're getting a little bit of, it's the PDF, yeah, okay. We're just cutting off the bottom images. Bit tricky. While they're working it out, I'll try and explain. Okay, that's okay. So this image here is the top of the one end of the flying fox. Oops. That's okay.
Did you say there's just one toilet?
That's correct, yes. Or technical difficulties. Next one.
Is better?
Yep, perfect. How about I just do that? Yep, excellent. So this image is just showing the top of the flying fox. And again, this area here requires the soft fall to be installed. This is our shelter. So under here will be the barbecue will be in here, and there'll also be some seating, bench seating and tables as well. Okay. Oh, okay, we're back to, that's okay, there's only a little bit of information, so don't worry about changing it. What it says is, when will construction be complete? And the answer to that is the end of June 2024. And then the next question is, when will the park open? And weather permitting, if we get through all of our construction and there's no other sort of rain delays, we're hoping to have our inspection, operational acceptance inspection, to be able to open the park, and it will be open in early July 2024. So the one last thing I just wanted to let you know is, when we were planning, undertaking the master plan work for the park, we obviously had a budget, and there was a lot more elements in that the community wanted to see. We couldn't deliver everything, so we tried to deliver a good sort of cross range of elements into the park. But to ensure that the delivery of some of those additional things could happen into the future, we've done some future planning in that master plan. And a few of the elements that we've made room for are a clubhouse, additional car parking, so to extend the car park at the end of sort of where it is at the moment. There's a microforest location, so land care groups can come in and do some additional planting. There's also an area for a pump track and fitness equipment circuit. So there's a couple of extra things there that there's definitely room, and the preliminary design of those spaces has been undertaken to make sure that they will work in the areas that we've left them free, but they were unfortunately unable to be delivered as part of this package of works. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Hello.
Yeah, when are you going to provide reasonable access to the dog park?
So there is a way to get into the dog park, but it's been slightly closed off because of our construction. So my understanding is that one side of the dog park is already open, and you can come off the bottom end of, so you'd have to walk past the...
You have to walk from the car park down to Horse Park Drive and then back up again. What, 1.5 kilometres? Why would you go to the dog park if you're going to go that far?
I'm not quite sure what you mean. From which car park are you talking? The existing car park that we're currently...
There's only one car park, and that's on Yen Street.
Yeah. So there's
no provision for a car park on Horse Park Drive, so...
Are you talking to drive in and go to the car park?
Yeah. Well, okay. Most people do.
Yeah. So there is a car park directly across the road that does have car spaces, that's attached to the existing play space and the childcare centre. So there is a car park there. So
There's one on Yen Park. There's a few inlet car parking on Yen Street.
Yeah, that's correct. There is car parking there too.
You still have to walk all the way down and then back up to get to that gate because of the fencing.
Okay, I'd have to have a look at that. My understanding is that the back end of the dog park has got, so there's a main entrance, and then at the bottom end of the dog park there is
That's the one I'm
access.
talking about, yeah. You still have to go around the fence.
Yeah, that's...
In order to get round the fence, you walk down to Horse Park Drive and then back up.
I'd have to work through what that looks like. Our fencing for the community recreation park doesn't go that far, but...
when they put the plumbing pipeline through, they fenced it all off.
Okay.
And cut the footpath and everything.
Yeah, all right, and maybe that's the concern. I'm happy to take that one on notice and have our project manager have a look at that and see whether we can tighten that up and get a clearer path of access as quickly as possible.
That'd be nice,
yep.
Thank you.
Happy to look at that for you. Thank you.
Yeah, g'day.
Hello.
Hello again.
Hi again.
So your games facility area, the court or whatever it is?
The multi-use court.
Can I just ask, is that going to include pickleball lining?
That is a good question. I don't know. It's another one I'll have to take on notice. I don't think so. And I'm only saying that because back when we designed it, I don't think we'd had a query around that line marking, but we can definitely check for you.
Yeah, because I guess it's a small tennis court thing, but I don't play it, but my wife does, and it's a big thing now with the growing elder community because they can get around a pickleball court better than a tennis court.
Yeah.
So that would cater for older generation people. That would be
Okay.
good if
Happy
you could put
to
that on.
ask the question.
Yep.
And if we haven't got it available, I'll find out where the nearest available court is for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there lighting?
Yes. So
Throughout.
all of the car park and the footpaths are lit, as well as the multi-use court. There is the multi-use court lighting will get turned off, as well as any lighting around the cricket nets, so it's not on all night, because the last thing residents want is people playing ball sports into the evening. So definitely, though, the footpath connections and the car park is lit, yes.
Righto. My only concern about lighting is that I live in a vicinity to the current Yerrabee Pond skate park type thing.
Yep.
And it's certainly attractive at night time for undesirables, vandalism, hoons,
Yeah.
donuts and drinking. So if there's a dark space at night time, like an open playground and whatever, then I don't think it will take long for vandals to identify the area.
Yeah, that's a really tricky one. We obviously don't light play spaces into the evenings for exactly that reason.
Yeah.
So we don't want it lit for them to do things, but then again, people may arrive and, display unwanted behaviours just because the space is available. So,
Righto.
yeah, we definitely don't light playgrounds for that particular reason. But you will be happy to know with Yerrabee that we're undertaking quite a bit of lighting around the pond and the skate park as well. So that's all happening at the moment.
So the alternative, which is, I'm not adverse to things like infrared CCTV to capture things, and then you can get a appropriate response, probably from Belconnen, because I think that's where our police are at the moment. So hopefully they can get there within about an hour or so, and they might catch them. So that would be good.
Yeah, and no note to sarcasm. Look, again, we haven't put in any cameras at this point, but definitely that's something that can be investigated if there's unwanted behaviours that continue.
Yep, no, that's fine. Just suggestions on the record. And the other thing that, a bit more seriously, is with paths going through, and it's good that there's wheelchair, other disabled access, but there's also access then for people on things like e-scooters, and going through a play space where there are young kids and things like that. We have a population that uses e-scooters without regard for anyone else, so I just throw that up as a concern, that maybe there's signage that bans it, and then at least if people are on them inside the skate park, they can be captured.
Are we
fined.
talking about Yerrabee Skate Park now? Is that what
No, so this new one.
Oh,
the new
okay,
one, yeah.
Look, we don't have specific signage in our suite of signage. However, I do know that we have put some yielding signage in other places in the ACT, in our open spaces. So it's definitely something we could look at if the need arises. And I appreciate your thoughts that the sign would stop people. It doesn't always, but yeah, we definitely can look at that if it's required into the
But
future.
if there's no sign, they'll say, well, nothing told us not to. So if there's a sign there and then they get hauled up, we can say, well, the sign told you so you deserve what you get, right?
Yep, that's a fair call. I'm
Right.
happy to take that one on notice and investigate it.
Yep, all good.
All right.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thanks. Just on the irrigation for it, some crips around, like the Moncrief one, that's irrigated as well. My understanding is that the Crace one was originally built as irrigated, but then the irrigation was discontinued. I'm not sure if that's accurate. That's just my understanding. Is there a long-term plan for the irrigation for this one?
So ultimately, we no longer irrigate community recreation. They used to be CRIP,
Yep.
Community Recreation Irrigated Park. It's now just
CRP. Yep.
However, we have agreed to continue to have this park irrigated because within Casey you don't have another space that's got the ability for ball sports or sports on a oval, because you don't actually have a school or anything like that. So the Casey one will remain irrigated as far as we're aware. Once we finish with the construction, we hand it over to City Presentation, and my understanding is they will continue to irrigate it.
For the foreseeable future.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep. Lots of great questions. Any others?
I got one in the online.
Yep.
Park looking amazing. Once park is open, will there be a need for a booking arrangement for facilities?
No. So ordinarily with things like cricket nets that are delivered under a sport and recreation portfolio, you can rent them out, and so clubs and things can rent them out. What we've tried to do with Casey is ensure that it's available to everyone and there's no booking system. So that means that a sports club can't come in and just book it out for weeks on end, and that means that the community can't just come down and use it ad hoc. So you'd be aware that Taylor has got several cricket nets available on their playing fields, and they are bookable, whereas for Casey it's remaining open just to a first in, first served basis.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So just with the car park, how many car parks did he say total?
Oh, now you're testing my memory. I think it's 14,
Yeah.
and 2 are disability compliant. I might just need to check that. I'm pretty certain it's 14.
Yeah. And with the toilet, do you think it's just one enough, or?
That's a tricky one. It's essentially when we did the feasibility work and we worked through the numbers of people, this was what we could offer at the time. So look, we could always use more toilets, but unfortunately, we've ended up with just a single toilet.
Because I was just concerned with the age group that you are targeting, because I think you're saying 1 to 9 predominantly using that area, and then it could be useful for parents like to nappy change and those
It has
kind of
those
things.
facilities, yes.
Yeah, so with one toilet, it may be a challenging one. I'm glad that we are considering toilets on the parks, which is a good start. But I think, you were saying that some plans can be, some of the things that can be enhanced in future state.
Yeah, well, the clubhouse would end up with some toilets presumably, but again, that's a future, insert into the park.
And the future design is already in progress, or it's going to be?
No, so there's not any funding for those additional elements, but what we have done as part of the feasibility was just worked through the space that's required for them, and we've left those areas free for future delivery.
So do you know by chance like how big that space is going to be?
I can find out off the
that'd be
top of my head. I just don't know what the measurements are, but we've done some work to sort of work through what the sizing would need to be to provide a hall and some other facilities.
Yeah, I think the last one I wanted to check whether all these parks are smoke free.
Yes, there's no smoking at ACT government parks.
Yeah, so I want to make sure like those signs are all over the place, just to make sure, because that's a kind of a challenge in some of the parks in Moncrief and stuff. And if you don't have sign, and people tend to see that's their smoke area. So
Understand. I'll have to take that one on notice. I don't believe we've put in no smoking signs, but I do think that that's a responsibility of City Presentation, but we'll check it and let you know.
That'd be good. If they're not considered, probably be a good idea to have those things, considering the kids going to be around and So
happy to have a look at that too. Excellent.
Yep.
Stanley, did you say it was a $3 million project? Was that what was committed in 2012?
That's correct. So yes, back in 2012, that's what we were given. There were some, we did seek some additional funding just to help us deliver additional things, but the original budget was $3 million.
back
I
in
think
2012.
we've done very well, yes.
Imagine what we could have had back then.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Very quick observation. So you got $3 million in 2012, and in between then, we got a multi-billion-dollar light rail.
Yes, I can't.
Yes,
I
there you
cannot
go. So,
they're separate.
so
they're
that might have
separate
helped out
buckets
with
of
that budget,
money,
eh?
And I can't make any comment in relation to other areas of government. Yeah, thank you.
Just what you said, the footpath goes all the way around the park and past the, sort of the dog park.
It continues. So there's already an existing footpath that comes up to the dog park from under Horse Park Drive. So our new footpath has we've taken out some of the existing footpath that wasn't. We had some
So
overland
it's
flow
actually
issues.
joined up, so it goes past the dog park.
That's correct. Yeah.
And is there going to be a path from that path to the gate?
Yes, so we've incorporated all new entrants into the dog park. So it basically, and it also sheds the water off, so it doesn't just end up as a big sort of muddy mess that's what it's been for quite some time. So, yeah,
Terrific, thank you.
tried to take care of that as well. Okay.
just sorry. I
That's
haven't
okay.
finished with Liam. Just got the mic from you. All good. So with the, like with your first background information about this, where you mentioned about the 2012 ACT government election commitment, and now it's like 12 years gone, and now we're saying there are some future plan that we're going to plan around it. So how long we need to wait for this?
So those future plans, they're not something that we will be delivering at this point in time. We've just allowed the space for them into the future, because they were things that were they were wants from the community, but obviously we can only deliver so much. But in the planning, it's best to look at it for long term and allow there to be space for additional things, and that's what we've done through the master plan.
I'm not sure whether you can answer this question, but I'm just wondering what took us so long to deliver this?
That's a question I can't answer. I'm not sure why it wasn't delivered in the 2 terms prior to the 21 till 21. I don't have the answer for that. Sorry.
Cool. And with the dog park, so is there enough fencing around the? Is it an open area kind of?
No. So it's the existing the refurbishments to the dog park were coming in and putting in some irrigation, redoing the grassing. Moving some seeding, we've added some shade, some additional trees and planting, and some new sort of bark and sort of tan bark areas. So the existing fence was already there, and one of the reasons it took us a little bit longer to open, well, there was 2 reasons. One, because we really wanted to consolidate the grass, because obviously you get dogs in and very quickly they decimate the grass, so we wanted to make sure the grass was really healthy and fully consolidated. And then the second reason it took so long was we had that very large storm event at the end of last year. You might recall lots of trees down, and quite a few trees came down in the Casey Dog Park and basically affected the fencing. And that fencing needed to be repaired, so we couldn't open the dog park until the trees were removed and the fencing was repaired. And all of the contractors were busy doing other work, so it took us some time to be able to get a contractor in to complete that for us, and for us to make it safe again. So yeah, that's the 2 reasons it took a little bit longer to open that section of the park.
And do we have a specific date? I know you said July. Do we have
for the community recreation park?
Yeah.
Yes, so the work should be practically complete by the end of June.
Yeah.
Then we were required to have an inspection to make sure everything's safe and finished. Once that inspection occurs, we're hoping to open in very early July, weather permitting, because if it rains, that's going to put us back again. So the current program says end of June, 2024.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Excellent.
We'll keep you posted if it changes.
Yeah, that'd be great. And there's questions that you have taken on notice. If you can send us an email so we can publish it on our
Yes,
Facebook. Yeah, that'd be
I can
great.
do that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, that's great questions. Anything else? Great. Thanks for your time, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you.
Do you want me to pop that back in there? Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. I think that's the end of tonight. I don't I don't want to drop this mic. Yeah, thank you for turning up, and thanks, Angela, for coming down and answering and presenting this. It's great. And in meantime, if you're concerned of any particular topic, or if you want to address any topic as part of a public meeting, please let us know so we can get those people to the public meetings. And traditionally we skip the June one, but we'll keep you posted on the media, Facebook, to let you know whether we're going to have the June one or not. But other than that, thanks for coming. And we are also planning for the election forum, where we're going to invite the candidates to come and do the presentation, or to get to know their viewpoint about Gungahlin, why they're running, and what they've been doing all these days, and what they're going to bring to the region. So if you're a candidate, and your time going to come soon, so get ready. We have to work out when and the location, all those ones, but it's coming soon as well. All right, thank you everyone. Have a good night. God bless. Thank you.